Hello. Welcome to the Create Solutions live stream here on the 13 Seasons channel. It's really good to do these live streams. I still haven't figured out yet how to make them feel more like a celebration. These live streams are based on the idea that I yearn to live in a community of people who recognize these 13 virtue seasons and celebrate them with some kind of like holiday or feast or something like that at the beginning of each season. And that these celebratory events would for people to come together as a community and also times at the same time to grow seasons that we're talking about here. I do not yet live in a community like that, and it's just my family here. We don't live in really a bigger community, larger than our family in the way that I yearn to. And so in the meantime, I'm trying to do the best I can here to use technology to facilitate a celebration event for each season like that. I don't know if it really feels like a celebration, but definitely feels like a coming together. There are each time we do these, in particular, a few like the Create Solutions live stream we did a year ago, in particular, really felt like there were people, even though we weren't in the same room, we were together in spirit, and something was being spiritually shared between us, and we were all better and bigger because of that. And it was really, really special. And all of them have been special. That one, for some reason, stands out to me, though, as realizing that power of community coming together digitally somehow. If anyone watching this has any ideas of how to make these live streams feel more like a celebration, feel more like community coming together to celebrate a season and grow in it, please, in the comments, put that. I would really be interested in hearing people's thoughts on that. For now, though, I'm going to keep going with the format I've been doing, which is to start with a little meditation. And then after that, I'll start talking about my thoughts about the season. And I'll be watching the comments part. And as people leave comments, I will respond to them and let that drive things. I find that the best nuggets in these live streams come often from the responses to the comments. So please throw in your questions and ideas and thoughts in the comments, and we'll move forward. Let's begin with our meditation, though. Go ahead and close your eyes and breathe. Be aware of the space you're in without judgment. Accept the space for what it is now in this moment. Notice what your senses tell you about the space. What do you feel against your skin? Let your senses become 10% more sensitive. What else do you notice about what you feel against your skin? Be aware of your spirit reaching out into the cosmos. And you're aware of the problems that you're experiencing in your life now. And out in the cosmos, removed from the normal, everyday experience of life on Earth, you're there with your problems out in the cosmos. Because you're out in the cosmos with your problems, they don't really feel like they can hurt you. They just are. You're removed from all the circumstances that make your problems feel stressful. And you're just with your problems out in the cosmos, and you hold them, and you care for them, and you say, thank you, problems. Thank you for giving me experience. Thank you for giving me new perspectives. Thank you for strengthening my physical and mental and spiritual muscles. Thank you for making life interesting. Thank you for helping me to become me. And then you're aware of a great rushing of energy towards you. And you look up and you see a bunch of people, like a big group of people, like spirit people, and they're all coming towards you as like a crowd. And they get to you and they all go straight to the problem. And they all start like jumping into the problem in front of you, up with their presence. And your problem starts like glowing and it starts bulging different ways because it can't quite hold all these beings that have jumped inside of it. And it starts bulging and shifting uncomfortably. And then it just sort of pops open. And all this wonderful light, it's like honey made of light, comes out of the box as it pops open. And it's full of goodness and intelligence and truth and love. It has healing power. And you push all the golden stuff back into the box of your problems. And then you jump into the box with the golden stuff. But when you jump into the box, straight inside the box, you experience yourself all around. You're fully aware of it. And you can see the box of your problem from every single angle so easily. And you can calculate every aspect of it. And you know just what to do to help. And then you start returning to normal awareness. And as you return to normal awareness, ask yourself, ask the deepest part of yourself, what is the next step I can take to create a solution to this problem? It's whatever comes to you. If you can, go ahead and write it down right now. I have my little journal right here that my wife gave me for Father's Day. It's so cool looking. I think it's really pretty. You can open it up. I'm gonna open up my journal And I'm just going to write in here the idea that came to me about what to do. My problem I came with today is I have some really heavy emotions weighing on me today. I went to church this morning and they were weighing on me, and I felt experienced a lot of help there. And then I came home and my wife led me through a really good visualization session that helped me through a lot more. It was really, really good. And I took a nap and that helped a lot. But I feel like some of it's still there. There's still this heaviness in my emotions that I'm still working through. And that's the problem I come with today. And I had an idea, so I'm going to write it down right now. Write down the idea that came to me, and you can take a moment to write down whatever came to you, whatever comes to you as well. And maybe it comes to you as you start writing. If you're not in a good position to write right now, just hang on to that answer, and act on it whenever is the appropriate time. I want to tell a story that my wife told me. She does. She's starting a business as like a professional declutterer. So she goes into people's houses or meets with them online and helps them to figure out how to declutter their space. She's very qualified for this work. Our home is, I'm sure I know she would like to declutter it even more, but our home is relatively decluttered in a lot of ways. And it's because of her influence. And I'm really grateful to her a lot for what she does, because as she helps us to critically think about which things in our lives are things that actually have meaning and which things are just sort of like using up space or even like acting like a to-do list. Or when you see clutter, your brain subconsciously sees a bunch of to-dos to take care of. And so by just letting go of everything that we really don't want to do, and having and shrinking our stewardship of things that we're responsible for to the most streamlined as possible, it helps life just feel much more simple and everything just feel more streamlined. And it helps us to remember to just focus on the things we really care about that really matter to us and just kind of not worry about everything else. And so she's doing this service of helping other people to do that, which is beautiful and wonderful. And she told me that she was with someone and she had visited them several times already, and they were making some headway to declutter. But there was a lot more progress he made, and it felt overwhelming to this person because there's just so much stuff everywhere. And it felt a little overwhelming to my wife too. She wasn't quite sure how she was going to help them. And she told me this, and I hope I quote her correctly in how she told the story. She said that she went to be with this person to help them declutter, and she decided to start with a meditation. And in this meditation, she helped them to connect with everything that's holy. She helped them to connect with, I think she specifically said she helped them to connect with Jesus, I think is how she talked about it with this person who was a believer in Jesus. And she helped them to that way. And then through meditation, and then she had them see their space the way they want to see it, the way their space will be once it's decluttered. And she had them take note of what was in the space and what wasn't in the space once the space was really what they wish it was. Then she said you had them come out of the meditative state and say, all right, start putting everything in the box that you want to let go of. And they just went to town. Like up till this point, they had every time they picked up any object in their house, you'd be like, do I want this or not? I don't know. It was really, really a big struggle for them. But after doing that meditation, they just ruthlessly went through their home, just giving things, just throwing things in the giveaway box. And that's the power that meditation can have in helping us to solve problems. The decluttering is a great metaphor. We go through life with very cluttered brains. And our brains are just full of so many worries and so many to-dos and so much stuff that we're trying to figure out, but we don't really know what to do about. And it's very messy in our heads. And we're full of all this memory, these subconscious memories of trauma that are under all that. And it just makes for like a very cluttered, messy space in our heads. And then these problems come up in our lives, and they just feel impossible to even know how to start doing anything about them. It feels unsurmountable. But if we can go to a space of meditation, through meditation, we can create a space inside ourselves where everything is like cleaned up. And then from that space, bring forth a solution. And then return back to our normal state of being and then implement the solution. And it's crazy how effective this can be, to be able to be like, wow, I can do this when it didn't seem possible before. A lot of times when we're struggling with a problem and it feels unsurmountable, it's not the problem itself that's actually that bad. It's the way the problem is connected to our trauma that makes it feel unsurmountable. In our past, in our life, or Charlotte, that's a comment that I want to comment on just a second. In our past of our lives, or in our ancestor, so up to this point in our lives, we've been through a bunch of stuff, and the stuff we've been through involves all sorts of experiences where we felt really hurt in different ways, or we had really challenging, or things went badly. And then when that happens, we attach emotions to those things. And those emotions that get attached are designed to help us avoid those situations again. They're designed to be like a problem prevention tool, right? So we attach sorrow or guilt or frustration or whatever, any of these feelings, anger, to these experiences. And those feelings aren't necessarily feelings that feel great. We don't really necessarily like having those feelings, which is a whole nother conversation about why we like them or don't like them. But in general, we tend to not like those feelings. And so our body has a strong emotional memory. And so when something happens that reminds us of that experience, even if we don't really remember the experience that well, the emotion pops up again because something reminded us of it. Then when that emotion pops up again, it moves us to avoid the situation and be like, oh, nope, I don't want anything to do with that. And it's like, and we're like thrown back. The emotion throws us back as if we were in that really hard time. And we just feel like debilitated by it. And so, and that system, we can be grateful for that system. You can say, thank you, body, for doing that, because the system is designed to, use memory to bring up sort of like warnings and things to help us to avoid situations, but it's maladapted, right? It's not adapted well to it. Like if you went through an experience when you were 5 that was really hurtful, and now you're 40 years old like me, and some things remind you of that experience, it might not really help very much because I'm not 5 anymore and I'm an adult. And I can probably do things I couldn't do when I was 5 to solve situations like that. And so turning back into a helpless 5-year-old is not helping me solve my problem. And so it's really important for me to process. And meditative state is a great way to do it. Go to a meditative state, and you can it's really simple. You just focus on your breathing. That's mostly all that it takes. There's lots of different techniques to help you get in a more meditative state, right? Like today I had us focus on our breathing, and then I had us pay attention to our senses, then go 10% deeper and pay attention again, right? That's a great technique too. Focusing your breathing though is great. Like just focusing on your breathing alone will do wonders. You can go on YouTube and just play a guided meditation of any kind just to get yourself into the meditative state. And then once you're there, with a thought, be aware of yourself at the age when you experienced the trauma. And if you can't even figure out what the trauma was, your subconscious knows. It's stored in your body. Your body remembers. So just say, I feel these feelings. I don't know what they are. Please present me with myself at the time I felt the feelings, and just see what pops up in your awareness. And you'll be aware of yourself at the age you had the experience. And then just give yourself a big hug at that age. And love yourself. And express gratitude for whatever happened. Express gratitude because it is. Because it gives richness to our life experience. Because it's a chance to grow. But mostly express gratitude because it is. Exists. Whatever exists. Because what exists is beautiful. Because it is. Then once you're aware of that, and you're aware of yourself at that age, give yourself this big hug, then just ask yourself, what can I do to help you? And whatever pops in your head, just give it a shot. For me, a lot of times I have some kind of symbolic image come to me of something I can do that symbolically helps. Like today I was doing an exercise like this, and the symbolic image that came to me was my younger self putting objects out on a table. And each of the objects were the feelings my younger self felt during a traumatic experience. And then we took big hammers and smashed all the feelings into the dust. And then we blew the dust away. Jesus came and helped us blow the dust away with like fans. And that really helped. I felt like there was like into my body right here, and the roots were going deep. Helped me to symbolically pull the tree out, which is hard to do. It took a very long time to pull it out. It was like a lot of patience, and then throw it really far away where it wouldn't be around anymore. And some of the roots were left. And then I felt to use like a transporter, like in Star Trek, to like teleport the roots away. And then it felt right to visualize taking like bags of money, which to me, the bags of money just meant like treasure, and then filling up that empty space it made with bags of money. Just so that there was like precious good things there. I think about value. Charlotte Draws Cats says, sometimes I think I need to declutter my head of bad beliefs. Thank you for your vulnerability, Charlotte. We all have beliefs. We can also call them schema, beliefs that inform the way we act. We have beliefs about ourselves, about God, about other people, about the world. And every day we act out programming based on those beliefs. And a lot of our problems we have are actually things we create ourselves based on acting on beliefs that don't match how the world really works. So I have a belief about myself that doesn't match who I really am, that's a false belief. If I have a belief about someone else that doesn't match who they really are, or a belief about a relationship that doesn't match what it is or could be, that's a false belief. If I have a belief about how the world works or God works that doesn't match what they're really like, that's a false belief. And false beliefs lead to actions that create problems for us. And so if we can rewire our programming or our beliefs, which are just based on the experiences we've had, every experience we have teaches us something about how the world works. But sometimes the lessons we take from that are maladapted or not true because we lack the bigger picture of what's going on. And so when we end up with these false beliefs and we act on these false beliefs, we create problems, make problems worse, or we feel like we can't solve problems when we actually could. And that schema is problematic. And so it's good to reprogram that schema. And let me just share with you a few things I've learned that help me to reprogram those false beliefs. What first? I've, based on my experience with myself and working with other people, almost everyone carries around the false belief of I am not enough. I see it everywhere. When I do coaching with people and I'll lead them through meditations and help them discover their false beliefs through meditation and help them let go of those and replace them with other things. As I do that, every single person so far I've worked with has the false belief of I am not enough. And they have it in many different dimensions and form and angles because we let go of it once and then we discover it in other places and other angles. I am not enough is like the maybe universal false belief that's throwing everyone off. And so that's the first belief. The first one thing I'd recommend is, if you don't know where to start with false beliefs, start with I am not enough. And one thing that can really help with I am not enough is just affirmations. That takes us, notice how we're jumping around seasons here. Officially we're talking about the 4th season, which is creating solutions. But we've been talking about emotions, which is the 5th season. We've been talking about schema, which is the 8th season. And now we're talking about communication, which is the 3rd season. And that's really important because these seasons, these virtues work together. They don't work alone. Each of these virtues supports all the other ones. So if I'm going to create solutions, that's going to be my focus right now, which is good because if you focus on creating solutions during this season, you'll be going with the current of the earth because that's the energy of the earth right now. The energy of the earth is oriented towards creating seasons being like the leading out power. And so if you're focused on that right now, then focusing on that will help you be in the same frequency the earth is at, which will help you grow more easily and smoothly without going against the current. But as you make creating the solutions like the leading principle, the other principles are going to support it still. So all the virtues of all the seasons matter right now. And so affirmations are a powerful communication principle where you communicate something to yourself over and over again until yourself believes it. And so it can be really powerful to just send the message, I am enough, you can send the message, I am enough to yourself in as many ways as possible, just over and over again. I thought that was a great message you just said, Will, that you said. I thought it was great. Will just pointed out that he's noticed this, what I was just saying about how they work together. So, a few different times a day, you can look in the mirror and, give yourself a big hug and say, I am enough. You could use your phone and turn the selfie cam and look at yourself then and say, I am enough. You could write I am enough in different places and put it around. It's a very simple, easy thing to say, I am enough. And keep saying until you believe it. And here's a fun little exercise I learned from the Spirit Verse YouTube channel, which I highly recommend that channel. You can go check it out. In the Spirit Verse YouTube channel, they talk about something they call the breath of life. And what they do is you say you say an affirmation. So you say, I am enough. And as you say it, notice where in your body it resonates. So like some part of your body might stand out to you, like that's the spot in your body where I am enough is connecting. So you say, I am enough, and see where, you can try it right now. Just say, I am enough out loud to yourself and see in your body where you feel it. I am enough. I feel it right here, right now. The goal, though, is to feel it in your heart. I don't know all the reasons why yet, but when you can feel affirmations in your heart, it helps your whole system really believe them. It creates like a heart-centeredness of the affirmation. And so I say, I am enough. I feel it here. You might feel it somewhere else. Now what you're going to do is you're going to breathe. And as you're going to breathe to the count of 7 seconds. And as you breathe, you're going to feel the breath go up like this. So with each count of 7 seconds, you'll feel it up higher. So the first count, in the place the Hindu tradition recognizes as chakras or energy centers. So when I say 1, you feel it the bottom of your spine. When I say 2, feel it in like the very bottom of your belly. When I say 3, feel it at the top of your belly. When I say 4, feel it, like just be aware. I guess you want to feel it, just be aware of your heart. When I say 5, be aware of your throat. When I say 6, be aware of right here. When I say 7, your crown. And then when we get beyond 7, we'll get to 8. And when I say 8, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and just be aware of the space above your head right here, like above your head. And just go 1, 2, 3, be aware above your head. And we're going to breathe in to the count of 7, and then 1, 2, 3. Then breathe out. When you breathe out, let the awareness go to the chest. Then after that, we'll say, I am enough again. And if you feel it anywhere in your chest, then you have moved that belief for that moment, at least, to your chest, which helps your body accept it. If you don't feel it in your chest, that's okay. Just notice where you do feel it, then do the exercise again. And keep doing it until you feel it in your chest. Something you can do like once a day or multiple times a day to help with the same affirmation until you really internalize the affirmation. So let's give it a shot. And if you can't remember those spots in the body I said, then as I count to 7, just imagine it like going up your body, with 1 being the bottom of the spine and 7 being the top of the head. You can just kind of imagine it moving up with the counting. Okay. So first you say, I am enough. Notice where in the body you feel it. Then breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out to the chest. Say, I am enough. See where you feel it. If you feel it in the chest now, you just move on. If you don't, you could do it again. I'm going to move on now. But if you want to like just keep doing that on your own while I keep talking, that's great. That's a really powerful exercise that helps people to accept affirmations, and you can give that a shot. And then don't underestimate the power of a mirror. I don't know why, but looking at yourself in the mirror while you say an affirmation, look yourself in the eyes, is really powerful. Another thing that can help us let go of false beliefs is journaling. If you can name the false belief, figure out how to word it, right? Like listen to your deepest self and say, what's something I believe that's not true? And write it down as it comes to you. Then after you write it down, take a look at it and go, why do I believe this? And just start writing down whatever comes to you about why it might be that you believe that. Then when you get done writing it all out, take that paper, rip it up in little tiny pieces, throw it away, wash your hands to start over, get a new sheet of paper and write down the new and say, ask yourself, what new belief would be more helpful to me, and write down that new belief. And maybe put it up somewhere where you can look at it, and maybe use that new belief as an affirmation. It can be really powerful even to use this just in the way you eat or drink water. So before you go to eat or drink water, take an affirmation and just like imagine the affirmation in the food. So you can, say it's I am enough. You can take your food and just be aware of the space that the food occupies in space, and the space around the space the food occupies in space. And while being aware of that space, say, I am enough. And then eat the food or drink the water. This is powerful. And this has been my experience with why it's powerful and why it works. Everything is energy. That's just quantum mechanics. When you get down to the smallest particles that we're made of, they're not really matter. They're energy. They're little pockets of energy that interact with each other in a way that we call matter. So everything's really just made of energy. Everything's energy in the end. And emotions are energy. Intelligence is energy. Beliefs are intelligence. They're energy. And the food we eat is energy. Now, this is why it's important to be thoughtful about the food we eat, because the food we eat has energy in it that it picked up from every step it went through to get to us. So, the way the food was grown put a certain energy into it. The way the food was transported from where it was grown to where we got it put energy into it. The way it was sold to us or given to us put energy into it. The attitude with which we claimed it put energy into it, or we received it. If you claimed it or received it, if you claimed it or received it gratefully, that's going to put a different energy into it. And then when you eat it, that energy becomes part of you and what you're made of. Frankly, the world we live in has many unhelpful practices that go into how food's created. And no one's trying to hurt anyone, I don't think. We've just, as a worldwide society, in our efforts to feed everyone, in our efforts to, have the money that everyone needs to take care of themselves and satisfy their desires, no one intentionally tried to create a nasty system, but we just sort of did unintentionally together over many, many years that started long before you or I were born. And so we have a system now where food is produced in a way that is full of lots of death, lots of suffering, lots of harm to people and the environment, lots of greedy energy, lots of thoughtless energy. There's what goes into lots of impatience, right? Food is harvested sooner than it should be to get it to us. And the way that we make the food and the way we transport the food and the way in which we sell and buy the food is wasteful and is impatient and is greedy and is done with not with the attitude of gratitude, but with an attitude of get as much as you can. And so for most of us, and some of us might grow our own food in some really cool way, or we found somewhere to buy our food that's really unique, that's grown with different attitudes. But most of us that get our food from the store, the food that comes into our house comes with it an energy that hurts us. And that's just the way the world is right now. Water has a similar story. But here, blessing the food can be so powerful. I'm not in a position right now in life that it makes, I don't have not in a position right now where my time and resources are ideally position themselves in the best way to be able to just grow all my own food the way I think would be best. It's just the way it is. But as I buy food from the store, and then before I eat the food or drink the water, if I'm conscious about putting good energy into it, blessing it, then my food changes. And energy exists beyond time. That's another rule. That's another principle of quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, there is no time. It's only cause and effect. Things in the future can affect things in the past, according to the math of quantum mechanics. So the cool thing is that once I get this food, if I put energy into it that's good, then it actually goes back in time and blesses everyone that went into making the food. So all those people and beings and things that were hurt along the way to get it to me, when I bless the food, it blesses that back in time and redeems the whole thing. It's a redemptive act. And so if I take a positive affirmation like I am enough, or I am love, or I am eternal, or just positive words like joy, peace, love, understanding, forgiveness, and I just take my food and I'm aware of where my food is in space and aware of the space around my food in space, and then just focus on those words while focusing on the food at the same time, and the food is made better. And everyone that touched that food going back in time is made better too. Then when I eat the food, I'm also made better. And one of the ways we can accept new beliefs is by putting the new beliefs in our food, then eating it. If anyone has any other questions or thoughts or anything, feel free to put those in the comments still. I'm going to just wait a minute or so to give anyone a chance to do that. And I invite you to enjoy the stillness of this minute. Take a moment to notice what your senses are telling you. And feel gratitude for what is. Noticing the way the light reflects on my microphone here and the lens of the camera right there. It's actually really quite beautiful the way the light reflects. I'm grateful to notice that right now. Grateful for how these devices do a good job of helping me communicate with you and thus facilitating connection and healing. Okay, I'm going to share one more idea with you all, and then I'm going to do a meditation. We'll be done. But at any time along this, if a question comes to you, feel free to add it in. I want to talk for just a moment about how a way we can create solutions in our families. So 6 years ago, I began a job at a teacher at a particular school. Thanks for complimenting my shirt. I bought this shirt at Target for 4th of July. This is not a paid ad. But it's a cool shirt because it works even on not 4th of July. So I like it. I've kind of dreamed of having a dark shirt with stars on it for a long time. And so here it is. Okay. So I taught at a school a few years ago, which happened to be the same high school I went to, which was an interesting situation to be in. I didn't expect my life to go that way, to teach at the high school I went to. And one of the things I'm most grateful for about teaching at that school, along with just the relationships I made, though, what I'm really grateful for is that school was selected to receive special training on what's called restorative practice. And restorative practice is amazing. Restorative practice is based on tribal customs. So not all, but many tribes around the world, particularly, in my mind, particularly the tribes in New Zealand, right, the Maori people. There are many tribes have handled justice a different way than like big countries do, right? The way most big countries handle justice is you do something wrong. Well, no, that's not right. They make laws, and then all the laws have punishments attached to them that are predictable. And then people are told, if you do something wrong, which means you break one of the laws we wrote down, right? Then this punishment comes to you. So it goes action, law, punishment. And that's the way society does it. And I'm grateful to live in that rather than chaos. Because of laws like that, I don't get robbed as much or murdered or like the streets go well. There's less accidents while I'm driving on the road that could hurt me, right? Laws like that do quite a bit to prevent a lot of crimes because people are afraid of getting punished. They feel fair, kinda, because it's predictable, right? This law leads to this punishment. But it's not a perfect system. It's better than chaos. And I want to express gratitude for that. I want to express gratitude that it's better than chaos. But it's not the most excellent way in my experience. Ancient tribal societies have a more excellent way. And it looks like this. Someone does something that hurts someone else. That person's invited to have empathy, to realize how what they did, to realize how what they did caused harm. Then that person's invited to do whatever can be done to repair that harm. And the person who was harmed has a chance to speak up about how they were hurt and be understood, and a chance to suggest things they would like done to repair the harm. And the tribe does whatever they can to bring that about. In this case, it's not about laws and punishments. It's about people understanding that their actions affect others and then being responsible and accountable about that. Now, sometimes when I've told people about this, they think it sounds really woo-woo and fluffy and weak. They're like, I want strong laws. I want to lay down the law. The law is weak, my friends. The punitive system compared to the restorative system is weak. The punitive system is weak because it only works if people get caught, right? If someone doesn't think anyone's watching and they really want to hurt someone, then they will. They'll break the law because no one's watching if they don't care. And it's weak because sometimes the laws don't actually reflect what actually helps, right? You can't make a law about every single way that you can protect someone from getting hurt. We wouldn't want to because it'd be too controlling of everyone. So there's lots of ways in which we'd like people to treat each other better that laws just can't do well. And as society tries to make lots of laws to try to take care of people better, it starts getting more and more controlling. And then that creates new kinds of problems that don't actually help. And there's no, and even though, and those laws that are meant to help don't have like real love and caring behind them. Instead, they become controlling instead of loving. And people aren't doing things for the reason. People aren't doing things to care. They're doing things because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they don't. And then they become resentful. And then as they become resentful of doing good, because the law tells people to do good, but it has punishments attached to it, people become resentful. And then when they become resentful of that, they become resentful of certain actions that are good. And the law teaches people to be resentful of goodness. In addition, another problem with this system is that it doesn't produce long-term real change in people. It doesn't make people into a new creature. People just go through the motions of obeying laws. But with the restorative system, which is a different way of solving problems, people are invited to have empathy. They're invited to really understand how their actions affected someone and really see the consequence of their actions. And that is far greater accountability. It is stronger accountability than any punishment you could ever give someone. And it produces and if people are invited to do that in a way where they're supported in being able to make things better, they feel like they actually can make it better, they have the support they need to do that from their community, then it produces people that actually change. And people do good for each other because of empathy, not because of fear of getting caught. Now, I don't have the influence right now to go around and change our whole society to make it more restorative and less punitive. But I do have that influence in the places I have control of. In my family, I can choose to work with my wife and my kids to implement a restorative approach to how we solve problems in our family. And then we discover that rules don't have feelings. People have feelings. And we can kind of stop. We just don't have any rules anymore. Our family does not have a single rule. We just don't have them. But for 5 years now, we've been approaching problems through a restorative approach, and it's rubbed off. And I watch my children. I don't know if they notice they do this, but they'll do something that harms each other, and they'll go to each other and they'll make it better without a parent ever intervening. And then other times, parents do intervene. And I think they know, and if they don't know, I hope they know this, and I hope they feel it deeply, that this applies to parents too. That I harm my children, and it's important for a restorative approach to come into place so that I can make things better with them. My kids, if I have harmed them, can go to me and point that out, and I apologize and make it better. And if they needed to, they could go to someone else in the family, have that person talk to me for them, which has happened, and we can make it better. I can do this also in other, when I'm a high school teacher, I can do this approach in my classroom. I can do this approach, whatever I have control over, right? So like in whatever group of people you have influence with, you can use this approach, even if you can't change all of society. And as more and more people experience this approach, it can start spreading through society that this is good. And to that end, I wanted to announce that I am starting what I'm calling a restorative parenting class. And if you want to know more about it in the chat or contact me through a website or through whatever means to contact me and I can talk to you about how to enroll. But this class that I'm starting is going to be a class where I'm going to take everything I've learned about restorative practice in the last 5 years and everything I've learned practicing it as a teacher and a parent, and I'm going to teach it to groups of parents over Zoom so that they can learn how to do it. In this class, we'll learn the principles behind it. We'll learn specific techniques to use to communicate in a restorative way. We'll look at like specific problems that could come up in a family and brainstorm how to approach them restoratively. We'll practice the communication with each other. We'll practice using this way of speaking with each other in the class so that we get used to talking this way. We'll talk about the role that trapped emotions and false beliefs play and why our family members act the way they do, and how we can, and how that's a piece of the whole restorative picture, and what we can do about trapped emotions and false beliefs as part of a restorative system to help everyone to get along in our families. Just in the time that I've been planning this class, it's gotten me reflect even deeper on how my family can be more restorative and have more connection. And I've made some changes just this week as I've been planning the class that I was moved to make as I getting the class ready. And I have experienced such deeper connection and such deeper love with my children just in the last few days. I want people to start enjoying the relationships they have with their family, to enjoy parenting. And so that's what this class is for. And I'll be with the members of the class, and everyone will be able to talk with each other and explore, and I'll learn from you, you'll learn from each other, and it's going to be awesome. So reach out to me if you want to do that. The class will be over Zoom. I don't have an exact schedule yet. I'm probably going to do it on Sunday, either Sunday evenings or Saturday mornings. I could do additional time, other times maybe, if enough people are interested. So they'll reach out to me and I'll send you a form and you can fill out to register for the class. And then once at least 3 households have registered, I'll schedule the class. And the class will it'll cost $275 to participate, which I think is a really fair price, because that covers 12 weeks of class, with each class being 2 hours long. My sister-in-law recently told me that she's frustrated that there's no parenting classes. Before you get a driver's license, you're expected to, do some kind of education, either by just practicing behind the wheel or going to a class to learn how to drive, for you're trusted with a car. But people trust you with a kid, with a human being to raise and a family to create, without any education you really go through. And you just kind of expected to figure it out based on how you were raised, which most of us I talk to are walking around with trauma from the way we were raised. So that's not working very well. So I hope this will really become something that helps lots of people feel like they have some direction in how to approach parenting and approach family life. Okay, let's finish with a meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes and smile. Breathe. As you smile, you feel so much confidence that your problems in your life are something you can handle and take care of. You feel that you can accept them as they are and create solutions and heal at the appropriate times in the appropriate ways. You become aware of a spot in your body that suddenly calls out to you. Maybe it's like a glow you experience in that spot in your body, or like a ping, or just like something in that part that says, hey, pay attention to me. And you pay attention to that spot in your body. And you realize that spot in your body has like a knot in it. There were lines of energy going through your body, and that spot, the energy lines that going through your body are knotted. You realize by lovingly caring for that spot and unknotting it, that problem solving or solution creating energy will flow through you so much more effectively. So you go and give attention to that spot. You love it, you kiss it, you hug it, care for it. You get a first aid kit and you put on special ointment on it that eases it. You put some Band-Aids on it and take care of it real well. And then it heals. And the knot undoes itself in response to your love and caring. And what was a knot is now just a straight flow of energy. And you feel energy go through your whole body. And you have, with that spot healed, your whole body has greater access to energy to create solutions. And that's hope. That's optimism. You're doing it. And in a little bit, when you return to a state of normal consciousness, you're going to carry this hope and optimism with you. So smile as you anticipate the new ability you're going to have to solve problems. As you anticipate how some of your problems are just going to solve themselves somehow in ways that surprise you. And then let the state you have in your body right now merge with the outside world around you as you slowly open your eyes, ready to do what you're going to do. That's all I have planned for today. And an hour is about the right amount of time for me. I got to go make some dinner. If you have additional thoughts or questions about this topic, then please reach out to me. You can reach out to me through 13seasons.org or through the chat feature on this YouTube channel or through any other way you know to reach out to me. And you can go ahead and do that. And have a great Create Solutions season. Enjoy your best self.